Where is that? Who keeps letting you guys into my house? Well, since you're here, I might as well show you how we turn a simple basic block of basswood into a houseplant. Let's get to it. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, so did you guys know that you can support me for not spending a cent by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing my videos? Doesn't cost you a cent. Helps the algorithm see me a whole lot more, and it's totally free for you. It just takes 3 clicks. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks. Bye. Alright, folks, so again, just for time's sake, I've already marked out 3 of our 4 sides. So, as I should have told you in the intro, I haven't recorded that yet. We are doing a carved succulent type deal. So, I'm going to try to do this with this, and it is really hard to mark stuff with a camera, but alright, so this is a hair over 3/4 of an inch, which makes it a little bit tougher to mark, but hey, I've done crazier than this. Alright, so we need about a 1/16 over 3/8. So there's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, just a hair past that. And there's our itty bitty little mark. This is one of the dangers of when you make your own blanks. They can sometimes get a little weird. But I have another one right here. So for our straight line for the top of the vase, we're just going to, by feel, get this at the very edge. And just give it 3 heavy passes. Get that line nice and dark. And then grab our ruler, scale, whatever you've got. I am trying to find something a little thicker than this because I really don't like it being broken down to 30 seconds for this when I need like 1/16. It's really nice for other things, but not really what I use it for. So we got this. Now we're just gonna set our depth like this. We're gonna make sure this stays good, which this side looked a little off. So we're just gonna lay our marks here. Now, just to help you guys visualize this a little bit, and a trick I just recently saw. We're going to scribble on everything we're removing. Again, this is just to try to help it be a little easier for you to see what we're doing. And there's one other marking that I haven't started yet because I just didn't feel like it. Actually, I say that sarcastically. So we're just going to mark these out real quick. And like we did with the campfire, I'm going to do one side completely with how everything else needs to be done, and then time lapse it so you guys know what I'm doing on the other 3 sides. So we just scribble this, scribble that. That side's already done. Alright, now for the other side that I did not do yet. We need to take the center points of every triangle here And bring the marks up a little bit. That one looks like it's a hair off. Alright. And then just the very base of the mark, we just need a line. Because this is going to give us a box in the bottom. Because this box will be where, when we're done, everything physically sits on. So we can still have, I just realized I'm completely out of frame. It's not a perfect box because, like I said, this one looks like it's off a little bit, but that's going to be the actual base that it sits on. So now we start the cutting. So I'm going to do this smooth side with you guys. This rough side is going to take a little bit more, where I'm actually going to, after I get everything shaped, take just a real light layer off to get a nice blade smooth finish on it. But we're just going to start taking this down. Once you want to get it flat between this line and this line, and then just, but once you've got one side done, you can actually come back here and start wow, this knife is dull. I thought my other one was bad. This one might be a little funky, but that one side will be the example of why you don't use dull knives. You know what? I think I have something sharper in my bag. Because that just feels like garbage. Alright, I do. I got an OCC, which should be ready to rock and roll. I do really like those flex cut detail blades, though, for doing stuff like this. Alright. Yeah, and this should be straight, so that, yep. So now we're just gonna take this down to the lines. All right. I'm going to sharpen all these up because even this one's dull. And then we're going to, I'm doing that off camera, then we're going to pop this into a time lapse and do the rest. So I will see you guys after I re-edge 3 or 4 knives. And we're back. So I started off, forgot to record, working on the bottom here. So we're gonna start with working on the top. I forgot I moved my camera. Alright. So I am switching it up to an OCC knife. Maybe not. That thing's dull. I really need to sit down and go through my blades again and sharpen everything. But we're just gonna go through this. the other edge. I got everything started now, so we're just gonna go from there. And all we're trying to do is curve over the top. And with this, facets are your best friend. If you didn't know, facets are these little flat spots that I'm leaving behind. I'm going to move this down a little bit more. There we go. Now I can see both. So it's just a matter of getting in here and getting smaller and smaller cuts. Alright. So this definitely isn't the prettiest thing I was hoping for, but you know what? This is the first one I've made. So I'm not going to complain too much. And then to do the finishing texture touches on it, we're going to do a bunch of V-cuts. But I want this more of an octagonal shape, so I'm going to touch up some of what got a little wonky on me in a couple places. Alright. So V-cuts, push and rock in, push and rock till it pops, and then we'll put one about here, one about there. I want it a little deeper than that. And every other one of these I'm going to be, I'm trying to keep this fairly uniform, but it doesn't have to be because nature isn't uniform, which does have a tendency to make this a little bit nicer. And I think I messed up because I was doing this on the corners and I should have been doing it on the flats. Alright, well, I'm going to keep going with the corners because I like the way the corners look more than that. So now we're just going to go in between these. There's a little hanger left on there. And a little bit lower for that one. And we're going to go around one more time to finish it up. That was almost my fingers. Make sure you're wearing your guys' carving gloves when you're doing these. Again, I don't wear mine for the simple fact that it is gray. It makes it almost impossible to see the blade when I'm wearing it with a camera. I'm looking into some other options, but I've been dealing with some other stuff that have taken pretty much all of my extra money, so I'm debating if I'm even going to tell you guys about that, but it is why I've been a little downcast the last couple videos, because it's been a rough couple weeks. Holy cow, it's been 2 months. Alright. There we go. It's not the prettiest looking cactus, but for a first attempt, I'm not sad about it. So, there we go. I'm going to go paint this off camera, and then we'll show you one of the ways you can make them look. I am looking at a couple other options for these too, so don't be surprised if you see a few more in the near future. Alright folks, so it's probably been about 20-30 minutes since I finished up the initial carving, and with a little bit of paint, that's what we get. Yeah, this looks a lot better painted than it did bare wood. I'm just going to be straight with you. I'm a lot happier with how it looks now. But yeah, so you can use pretty much anything you want. Like I keep saying, I love my milk paint. I don't know what it is about it, but I enjoy it. I think part of it is the simple fact that I can adjust the color just by how much powder I put in with the water, and it gives it a rustic look right off the brush. And then with a little bit of walnut oil, it looks amazing. But yeah, so there's the basics of how to get one of these guys made up. Stay safe. Don't forget your gloves. Get your little finger guard thingies. Because I do make more that just goes over your fingers, which I'm thinking about grabbing a set once I get paid next, assuming I can afford it. Money's been a little tight here in the last couple months trying to deal with some pet illnesses. But yeah, so with that, I will say cat in the hat. That be dat. Be safe. Keep making. And I will see y'all next time.